Well, hello and welcome to our program tonight. It is so good to have you with us. We always look forward to these Friday night get-togethers. Been noticing in our chat room, we're just still getting people from all around the world. It is just heartwarming to know that people of other cultures enjoy the music like they do. But as you know by now, everybody's welcome on our program. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I just want to be your friend. I just want to sing these songs of hope and peace and these great old spiritual songs. There's just something in these old songs that I won't say the new songs don't have it, but they don't have what the new songs don't have is those of us that are old enough to remember growing up singing these songs. That's part of the magic because it takes us back to a time that hopefully we were happy with. And, you know, we always make out the old times being better than the new times. They probably weren't, but you know, there's some nostalgia there. So new songs just don't have the nostalgia content. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into our program tonight. For our first song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that was written by a very interesting fellow. His name was Cleavant Derricks. He was born in 1910 and he lived until 1977. But he became a pastor of a small African American church in Alabama. But he wrote songs, and his church was in need of some hymnals. And, you know, this was during the Depression, so there wasn't just a lot of money floating around, but he went to Stamps Baxter Publishing Company, and he showed them some of his songs, and there were two that they were really interested in. One was When God Dips His Love in My Heart, and the other one was the one we're going to do for you tonight. It's called Just a Little Talk with Jesus. Well, he talked them into giving his church 50 hymnals for these two songs. Now, I don't know if you have an idea of what publishing is worth. Obviously, it's worth a lot more in the secular world, but it's still worth a good bit in the gospel world because there were a lot of, particularly back then, a lot of radio stations played gospel songs. So Stamps Baxter made a fortune off of those two songs, and Cleavant never got any royalties for that, but he got the hymn books for his church. But he started traveling more and more and singing his songs. He wrote some 450 songs in his lifetime. But he traveled more and more and more, and 2 years before he died, he went to Nashville. He was needing some help. He was going around telling the story, and he finally went to Word Record Company. And when they realized he had not been receiving royalties for all those years, they went to BMI, and BMI reinstated him, and he received royalties. Matter of fact, I think they wrote him a check for $15,000 that day for some back royalties. But anyway, his last 2 years of his life, he was able to live rather comfortably because of the royalties he was finally getting on these two songs. And because of that one line in there, now let us, that little bass line, I cannot tell you how many quartets did this song along the way to show off their bass singer. But we're going to do our version of it for you tonight. That great old song by Cleavant Derricks, Just a Little Talk with Jesus.
I once was lost in sin, but Jesus took me in, and then a little light from heaven filled my soul. It bathed my heart in love and wrote my name above, and just a little talk with Jesus made me whole. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our trouble. He will hear our faintest cry. He will answer by and by. When you feel a little prayer will turn, you will know a little fire is burning. You will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Sometimes my path seems drear without a ray of cheer, and then a cloud of doubt may hide the light of day. The mist of sin may rise and hide the starry skies, but just a little talk with Jesus clears the way. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our trouble. He will hear our faintest cry. He will answer by and by. When you feel a little prayer will turn him, you will know a little fire is burning. You will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. I may have doubts and fears, my eyes be filled with tears, but Jesus is a friend who watches day and night. I go to him in prayer, he knows my every care, and just a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our trouble. He will hear our faintest cry. He will answer by and by. Feel a little prayer will turn him. You will know a little fire is burning. You will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our trouble. He will hear our faintest cry. He will answer by and by. When you feel a little prayer will turn him. You will know a little fire is burning. You will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Yes, you will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. You will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right.
For our next song tonight, we're going to slow things down just a little bit and do you a song that was written by Thomas Dorsey in 1937. Thomas Dorsey is an interesting man. He changed the face of spiritual gospel music, or the spiritual sound of things. Up until Thomas Dorsey, church music sort of had it was just sort of normal church music. You know, it didn't have the bouncy, bluesy rhythms and the jazz infusion and all that. Thomas Dorsey did that. He had an earlier life, much like myself. He played the bars, he played the house parties, and he played blues, and he played secular music up until he got into his 30s. And his life began to change, and he began to work in church music. But all of those the blues influences and the jazz influences, he put into his songs. He wrote "Precious Lord, Take My Hand," but he also wrote "Peace in the Valley." "Peace in the Valley," it's been done by so many people. It's like Elvis did a version of the song. Johnny Cash did a version of the song. Jim Reeves did a version of the song. Loretta Lynn did a version of the song. The Gaithers did a version of the song. There's just so many. I know I'm leaving out. There's dozens of people that have done this song. I started getting so many requests for it. I wound up putting it on my Cabin album. And but anyway, Dorsey, by the way, this was one of the first gospel songs to ever sell 1 million records. Sam Cooke did the earliest, this song was actually written for Mahalia Jackson in 1937, but it didn't really take off until Sam Cooke did a version of it, and then Red Foley got a hold of it. Sam Cooke did his version with the Soul Stirrers in 1950, but Red Foley did it in 1951, and it became a hit. It made it up to number 7 on the country charts. So, and there's one more story about this. Elvis Presley, on his last appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, did this song. And the next day, RCA released it as an EP. In the old days, we had these little 45 records with the big hole in the middle, and they did what they called an EP, where they would put 2 songs on each side. And one of the songs was "Peace in the Valley," and it went on to sell several million copies. In fact, it set the record for sales of an EP, and that song, that will never be broken because they don't make those records anymore, those kind of records. So that's a record that Elvis will always hold. But one interesting thing, Hungary had been invaded by Russia right about that time, and Elvis made the appeal. He said, let's help these people. And they gave an address where you could send money. The next day they raised now this is in 1956, y'all. They raised $6 million just because Elvis asked people to give to that effort, and help the people, those refugees that were trying to leave Hungary. But anyway, this song just has a storied past, and I'm going to do it for you tonight. It's called There Will Be Peace in the Valley.
Well, I'm tired and so weary, but I must go along till the Lord comes and calls me away. Oh yes, well the morning is bright and the Lamb is the light, and the night is as fair as the day. Oh yes, there will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, my Lord, no trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me, for me. There the flowers will be blooming and the grass will be green, and the skies will be clear and serene. Oh yes, well the sun ever beams in this valley of dreams, and no clouds there will ever be seen. Oh yes, there will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, my Lord, no trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me, for me. Well, the bear will be gentle and the wolf will be tame, and the lion shall lay down by the lamb. Oh yes, well the beast from the wild shall be led by a child, and I'll be changed from this creature that I am. Oh yes, there will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, my Lord, no trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me, for me. There will be peace in the valley for me.
Right now I'm going to do you a song from my Angel Band CD. It was written by Stuart Hamblin. Stuart Hamlin was one of those early stars in radio and the movies. He was he was the first cowboy singer on the air. Might not have been the biggest, but he was the first. And he had constant problems with alcohol, but he was so popular that the radio people would go and bail him out. He'd get put in jail, for his escapades, and then they'd go bail him out, and And this went on until he met Billy Graham, and of course he got saved through Billy Graham, and I'll tell that story in another episode, so I won't repeat it here. But this song was done in 1954 by Rosemary Clooney, went to number one here and in the United Kingdom. By here, I mean the USA. And Shakin' Stevens took it to number one again in the United Kingdom in 1981. But and by the way, Stuart Hamlin was the first person signed to Decca Records. I think that was back in the 30s. So that's a little bit of history for you there. But this song just went on to become so popular. People love this song. And there's no telling how many people record. I won't even try to start naming how many people have recorded this song. But I'm going to do you my version tonight. And it's called This Old House.
This old house once knew my children. This old house once knew my wife. This old house was home and comfort as we fought the storms of life. This old house once rang with laughter. This old house heard many a shout. Now she trembles in the darkness when the night wind walks about. Ain't gonna need this house no longer. Ain't gonna need this house no more. Ain't got time to fix the shingles. Ain't got time to fix the floor. Ain't got time to oil the hinges, nor to mend no window pane. Ain't gonna need this house no longer. I'm a-getting ready to meet the saints. This old house is getting shaky. This old house is getting old. This old house lets in the rain, and this old house lets in the cold. On my knees I'm getting chilly, but I feel no fear or pain, 'cause I see an angel peeking through a broken window pane. I ain't gonna need this house no longer. Ain't gonna need this house no more. Ain't got time to fix the shingles. Ain't got time to fix the floor. Ain't got time to oil the hinges, nor to mend no window pane. Ain't gonna need this house no longer. I'm a-getting ready to meet the saints. My old hound dog lies sleeping. He don't know I'm gonna leave, else he'd wake up by the fireplace and he'd sit there growling grief. But my hunting days are over. Ain't gonna hunt for food no more. Gabriel done brought in the chariot when the wind blew down that door. Ain't gonna need this house no longer. Ain't gonna need this house no more. Ain't got time to fix the shingles. Ain't got time to fix the floor. Ain't got time to oil the hinges, nor to mend no window pane. Ain't gonna need this house no longer. I'm a-getting ready to meet the saints. I ain't gonna need this house no longer. Ain't gonna need this house no more. Ain't got time to fix the shingles. Ain't got time to fix the floor. Ain't got time to oil the hinges, nor to mend no window pane. Ain't gonna need this house no longer. I'm a-getting ready to meet the saints. I ain't gonna need this house no longer. I'm a-getting ready to meet the saints.
Jim Hill was born in Ohio, and he went on to study music, and learn to play and everything. And in his early days, he played with 2 or 3 quartets, the most notable probably the Statesmen. And he wrote this song in the mid 1900s. A lot of people went on to record the song. But he said he had just become a new Christian. And of course, when we're new Christians, we start to wonder about things and we start to try to figure things out. But his mother-in-law had gotten very ill, and he was riding home from work one day, and he said he just was wondering why bad things happen to good people like that, and he really couldn't understand it. But for whatever reason, this caused him to start thinking about this song, and he said when he got home, he didn't have any way to write it down. He stepped out of his car, and there was a piece of paper laying on the ground. So he reached down and picked it up. He had a pencil in the car, and he wrote this song. And he said later on, after he had worked it up, the first person he played it for was his mother-in-law. But anyway, this song just went on to strike a chord with many people. A lot of people have recorded the song. In another episode, I get into that. But and this was also one of the songs that when we started doing the program, our Friday night program, people started requesting this one. I did not have it in my repertoire at the time, but we have since recorded a version and made a video, and we're going to do that for you tonight. It's called What a Day That Will Be.
There is coming a day when no heartache shall come, no more clouds in the sky, no more tears to dim the eye. All is peace forevermore on that happy golden shore. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. There'll be no sorrow there, no more burdens to bear, no more sickness, no more pain, no more parting over there, and forever I will be with the one who died for me. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day, glorious day that will be.
For this next song, I'm going to do you a song that I wrote. I don't write a lot of songs, but now and then one comes to me. And I had been in church and I heard the pastor use these words as a congregational things where he would say a word, a phrase, and we would repeat it. And by the time he got through with all of the phrases and everything, I'm going, he just put together a song. And so I set about putting it in a musical fashion so that I could sing it. But one night on this program, on the Friday Night Sing-Along, I can't remember who it was now, but it may have been Oink. But anyway, they said, what day is it? You know, and everybody was sort of guessing, you know, like we were guessing holidays or this or that. And finally he says, this is the day the Lord has made. And it reminded me, wait a minute, I wrote a song about that. Maybe I need to put it on the program. So I went and found it on my album and put it together into a video format so I could show it to you. And I've played it a time or two, and people seem to respond to it well. But anyway, I'm going to do that again for you tonight. It's called This Is the Day the Lord Has Made.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. I am more than a conqueror in every situation. I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. I am more than a conqueror in every situation. I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. I will be glad and rejoice in it. Yes, I'll be glad and I'll rejoice.
Right now, I just want to remind you about our website, www.birdyeomans.com. All my CDs are there. My double CDs are there. My songbook's there. There's a couple of specials that we have there. And just want to invite you to come by and take a look at it. If you have any questions, my wife Linda will be glad to help you. Her email address is Linda